So what about combat? Combat in this is excellent. You actually have to really think about the matching that you're going up against. You've got to get somewhat familiar with what the typing matchups are. And you're better off if you can actually swap in creatures that do have a type advantage against what you're fighting against. There's potential in this where you really defensive Coromon kind of come out ahead, because in certain fights you get smacked really hard. However, you do have to actually think about the encounters. The world scales with your Nexomon, so you're never really outpacing the world around you, and that lends itself to being a little bit more thoughtful than just multiplayer battles, which, if we're honest, is about the only place a certain other series really requires a lot of thought anymore. Some of these fights challenge me in a way that I haven't actually felt challenged by a creature collector since I played Pokemon Red, and I played it when I was 9 or 10, so it's not like I was at the peak of my intellectual capacity at that point in time. And really, even with that game, the only actual challenge was the Elite Four. Now, don't get me wrong, this is not the Dark Souls of creature collectors. These fights are not exceedingly difficult. You're just not really capable of turning off your brain and just going about your day in this. Now, you can, to a degree, with the wild encounters, sort of, but when you start getting into things like the dungeons and boss fight, not only do you really need to consider type matchups, but in those situations, you also really need to make sure you're going in with a decent stock of items to use, because if you find yourself in a position where your main Nexomon for the fight, you know, the one that's actually advantaged with its type, gets taken out, you're going to have a hard time getting through the fight. Like the very first boss fight, which is what I'm highlighting in the background right now, you can't just power your way through it. You kind of can a little bit, but you have to go about it kind of strategically, because other creatures come out besides just the boss. And the boss fights normally have a decent little variety of creatures. There's never like a hardcore surprise, but you do have to be prepared to swap things out, because if you just go for a hard counter of the main creature, you're going to be pretty much countered yourself more than likely.